members that have found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me. On this evening's live, we have several different topics to go over. We'll start off with the technical analysis, not just on XRP as it's down 2.6%, as it's trying to fight its way back up right now and held, at least for now, we've at least held a very critical support level at about the 60.2 cents. We did not get rejected on the way back up, which is huge. Otherwise, we could have been staring down an 11% drop down the barrel. But as of right now, we've avoided that drop for now. And we've stayed within a more bullish setup. We still need to get back over that 62 point, right around the 62 cent mark right now. But we're still very much below that. But the XRP ledger activity, as I hinted in the title, it could signify something a little bit larger that doesn't meet the eye here. And does this entail a hint, or is it hinting to us at a pending bull run that's looming? And by bull run, I mean a scenario where we break past that 77-month resistance and we can finally start pushing up. What would happen is if we break that 77-month resistance, which right now is around 72 cent area, we've went up in January of 2018 to all-time highs at 350 depending on exchange. Took 27 months before we found a support level in March of 2020. And that was right around 10 and a half cents, just over 10 cents. So it took that long to find that support area. And now we've been consolidating and converging ever since. So these are typically bullish consolidations. They're in a descending fashion. And right now we're getting very close to the apex moment, which if you haven't watched before and you're not privy to my technical analysis, that moment's going to happen end of December or January of 2025 at the latest. So we're coming down to the back end of a formation. And if you can break bullish out of a 77-month consolidation, we do have a technical target that if it played out properly, if it wasn't a fake out, it would get you back up to $1.98, which is very interesting because we have a short-term cup and handle formed right now. And as long as we don't lose 50 cents, that's a very bullish handle. And 85% of the time, this will break bullish. But it's interesting because where that next cup formation looks to be setting up, that's right at the 2021 resistance, where we in 9 days went from 59 cents to $1.98, and we just collapsed after that. We had one small rebound back up to $1.66, but then it, boom, well, it was $1.75, and then it went. So right now, we're watching very closely because if we could break up over and hold that 62.5 cents, that's signaling a push up to that 74 cent area. And it's interesting because if you get on top of that area, we know that that would in turn signal a longer standing formation and it would not just signal, it would confirm a push up to $1.20 if we could start pushing up and out. So it would be very interesting to see how this plays out. I wanted to give a little bit of a backstory on what's going on before I even went into any of the analysis. But this is the chart that started early March. And this pattern's coming to an apex point, as we can see. This ends, no matter what, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, tomorrow. Tomorrow. So this pattern that started 1 month ago, it's converged now and played it. This is why they say, don't trade the middle of a pattern. Trade support and resistance. Support, resistance, we figured out the pattern. Support, resistance, resistance, support. I mean, anytime if you would have traded support, big run. Back to now you shorted up here, big run, long, and every time it gets a little bit smaller because it's converging. So now the technical breakup, if this plays true, is 76 cent area. Now I put down 45.90 because that's if it doesn't play true and all of a sudden the bears take over. I don't expect it to go all the way down there though. That's the thing. That's why you start to look at the analysis, and I don't expect it to break down there unless it's a wick if something like this were to happen in the daily, because this would invalidate the handle resistance, or the handle, the cup and handle, and you'd break below the handle support, and you'd be one back test away from the pattern completely imploding. So I'm not so sure that this is just going to break down. I personally, like I've been saying, I can see how this is a bear trap because it's got the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. That's a topping reversal pattern. Now, what it also created in here was if you look at the inverted left arm, inverted head, inverted right arm, like we talked about earlier, if this doesn't give way, this is still a very much an inverted head and shoulders. I mean, it's so easy to see here. It's like it's trying to trap everybody to go short. And then right before you realize it, it's going to come up like this. That's what my gut is telling me. That's what my gut's telling me, that no matter, even if it were to fall down a little bit, it's going to come right back up, and it's got to not even just retest. It looks like we could be starting something bigger if we get supported by the market. Now, with the relative strength index, you're starting to get a little bit of leverage here. This is starting to move into a weird area now. Now it's got to hurry up if it wants to go bullish and break back below that neutral area at 50. Because you don't want to start bouncing like this, then the bears are starting to take control. If you see this, the bears are starting to take control, and this is going to do this. But what you want to see is this come right through, start doing this again. So we'll see what the direction is here. But I, for one, am not bearish. Yes, I give the bearish proposition when it looks like it, but I'm saying in a whole, I'm not bearish until this breaks down. Until we lose that handle support, I am not bearish, which for transparency is right down here at about 49.4 cents. Continues to come up here, though, as the days go on. But unless that breaks, I'm very bullish. I understand there's consolidations. We're in the short-term consolidation, as we warned about earlier. If this breaks down and you get a rejection here at about the 602 level, that would initiate it's about an 11.4% drop down to about 53 cents. But I don't anticipate that unless this goes bearish. If this breaks down, obviously we have to pay attention. And I'm not gonna emotionally make it go one way or the other just because I want it to. But if it breaks down, I understand where it's going and we've got the target. If it breaks up, we also understand where this is going. And it's going up to that downtrending resistance, ironically, which happens to be that handle resistance. This is just the mid-tier handle resistance support line right now. We've created a big consolidatory pattern, well, not big, but in the time frame, a nice little converging pattern here where we're getting, if this plays out truthfully, this could actually last the small formation until April 21st. But we've got some issues here because we've already broken down a pattern that started at the beginning of March, and we're at the apex zone tomorrow. So something's going to happen tomorrow. Something's going to happen, whether good or bad. We're going to have some kind of volatility tomorrow. That's not no other, unless it carries over into the third. But something is going to have to give way one way or the other. A clue that we might have got is the fact that Bitcoin, even though it's down 1,480 points today, it's down 2.01 or 2.08% or at 69,806. And I'm coming in hot with the TA before I even do an intro or talk to anybody because we've got the daily close in 20 minutes as I'm on an hour later today because I had a prior obligation, but I still wanted to do my technical analysis. So I just decided to start it later. So I have no idea if anybody's going to be watching as normal, but that's not important. What's important is to get the information out for the ones who need to be here or want to be here or need to see the information. So right now we were saying if we got rejected here, which we did at 70,186, we looked at the 67,435 area for consolidation. It looks like we made a double bottom right here, just shy of it, about 680 or 700 points up at 68,000, which is perfectly fine. We would rather have this happen just so we could get a reversal. And it looks like we could have a small W. Now, don't get too excited unless we get back above this resistance here at 70,385. If we can get back above this and get to the top side of 70,956, this is nothing more than a wick. Nothing more than a wick, and a lot of it's pulled back up before the daily close in 19 minutes. So I'm still targeting 73,768 unless we lose that uptrending support. That's my personal anticipation. And I say that because the technical target, when we came down, we had a technical drop point, as we can see here, when we lost the rising channel. Let me get my arrow out. When we lost the rising channel right here, we had a technical drop. We measured it out. We put the target down, and it was 60,690. Hit it pretty much dead on. Nailed that to the wall, as I like to say. That was a beautiful spot right there. And then the formation it created, the fact that it held this, we already had a target back up that we knew based on the drop, and the target is 73,768. So the fact that all of this has happened, we've created an uptrend support 1, support 2. We didn't quite hit support 3 here yet, but it still didn't fall through. So this uptrend is still valid. This still looks like a overextended bull flag that needed a little bit more help. So we're going to see. We're going to see exactly what this is about to happen here very quickly. And I'm not switching the pattern at all, because if that uptrend breaks, we're going back down to 60,690, and it's a waste of time to do anything else. Sure, you could get a mid-tier hold if it's just a wick, but we need to break up. If we break down, this pattern's already been set. If it breaks down, like I was saying before, well, I can't say like I was saying because some of you have never seen my channel, but I've said this in the past before it came back up, that I would expect it, if it was going to be an M-topping reversal, to do something like this and then come down, because I don't think this little M is big enough. It's just, I don't. So we'll get into this analysis. There's a lot to talk about. We'll go over XRP Healthcare again today, as we've been keeping up with it. We'll take a quick look at the precious metals, as commodities that we've talked about for a while here are starting to heat up. And then I came on at 3 o'clock this morning, and I talked about XRP, obviously, but I had about 2.5 minutes worth of DGB. And I talked about last night how the whole market is starting to flounder, and DGB, this is a good sign. DGB likes to heat up when the whole market's going south. For whatever reason, DGB feeds off the market negativity, just absolutely feeds off of it. So I talked last night, and I tried to give a overshadow, but I've had this up for so long, everybody. You all know. I've had these technical targets up for so long that when it fills out so perfectly, it makes me so happy. Look how perfectly it came up there. And I even put the 2283 is not what I said. I said 2114 from all the way down when we were buying at 0.007. This was my target, remember? I said it was going to be the easiest 200% some of you have ever made. And I can't say if it's the easiest 200%, but it happened really quickly. Not just that, you know, it's just the way it's coming up. This is typical DGB. That's why I said that 007 cent average buy we have at less than at 0.007, 77,700 tokens is going to be the difference for a lot of people. When I first bought DGB, I bought it for 5 cents, sold it at just over 15, 16 cents. So you're talking about after I sold it out, I got to buy it back for 99% off. What I paid 10,000 tokens for $500. Now I got 77,700 for like 600. So for an extra $100, I got 7.7 times the amount I had before. It's insanity. It's not worth $600 anymore, as some of you can imagine. It's almost worth a couple thousand now. So it's DGB is a pretty incredible thing that not a lot of people talk about. It's the reason why when I first started, I was XRP future millionaire with the side bet on XM and future Digibite. OG. That's why I used to say it, because nobody used to talk about it. Well, they did, like Crypto Mentor talked about it a lot, but I don't think a lot of people were listening. But I've been talking about this since I started because I thought it was a sleeping giant. There's just so much to it. But right now, the good news is if you're looking to buy it, we've broken down here a little bit, so don't get too excited just to buy. See, you never buy the rally. DGB put in a sneaky head and shoulders, likely. I mean, I don't want to break anybody's balls here who probably bought in when it was pumping, because that's what people like to do. But I look for the sneaky left shoulder, head. If this comes up, and it should come up again for rejection around 2114. If it does that, you're looking at a big rejection pattern. And it doesn't mean it's going to come all the way down. What it would mean is this, what I like to call them, the parabolic uptrend would have ceased, which has to happen eventually. It has to. It has to cease. Just like this uptrend is still the all-time uptrend. You see, even when it came through, it bounced back above. And you can see how this lines up pretty nicely with what we're talking about here. If it comes down and loses this parabolic uptrend, it's got to reconfirm the pattern uptrend at 1793. Or if it takes a little bit longer, X marks the spot up here around 1838. That's a pivot point. And that was a major resistance that we got above. And now if we hold it for support, it's beautiful. So the cool thing is we can get rid of the 2114 target because we already hit it. And now we know the new resistance. So there's no reason to sugarcoat it. But what I can show you is pretty interesting. Is If it does hold this consolidation, even if it comes down here, this is building up a massive layer here. And this doesn't even signify at 2.7. I mean, 2.7 would be a big culminating point. Actually, it is. That's the big point we were waiting for. So, yeah, that could be a push to 2.7 if we hold this support. I spent a lot of time on DGB, but it's my baby. And sometimes I forget to talk about it. But you could be on the verge of another 48% move if we can hold that 182 pivot point. So hopefully everybody who likes DGB appreciates DGB and understands that it's a little bit different. It's in the Internet of Things. It's very cheap. Think of smart houses, smart cities. I don't want to go any further really so I don't get banned, but think of the whole new smart society that's coming, or that's already unfortunately knocked down our door. But that's part of that innovative technology. There's like VeChain, IOTA, Filecoin, Theta, to name a few. I know I'm missing one, but there's some pretty interesting ones along that line. So let me get into the intro. I know it's been forever. If you are watching right now, please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube recommends this live. It really does help more than anybody knows. By you hitting that like button and YouTube recommending this live, my live and my content pops up in the feed when you guys look through YouTube. So when you pop up on the YouTube and you start scrolling through your feed to see what you're going to watch or to see the predicted programming that they want you to see, you got to hit that like button so I pop up in the feed. I'll pop up for more people. The newer and older viewers can start watching. And then at least you get a bit of little truth in your reel. But with that being said, good evening. 7:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, April 1st, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I thank everybody who's tuning in right now, who's in here since I'm about an hour later than normal. JW, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Hope you're having a blessed day, friend. Matt Holden, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. XRP Raptor, Mario Louise Willimies, welcome in, along with Make XRP Great Again. Thank you so much. Says XRP, greatest cryptos ever lived. We're all coming down the... Thanks, my friend. Well, Rob, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. It sure is my face superimposed on there, I promise. Devin, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Light Switch Tom, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Kryptonian and Wales, Josie Wales, thank you both for being in Tom's Army, along with George for 2 months with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News emoji badge. ATK and Jason Setta, thank you both for being in Tom's Army for 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Bob Burtner, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Randall, welcome in, and be safe on that cruise ship. He's in the Symphony of the Sea of the Caribbean. Interesting. Have a good time, my friend, and thanks for continuing to be supportive. Tanya, welcome in, love, and thank you for being a part of Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. J-Ride, happy birthday to you as I see the comments. Happy birthday to you, my friend. Bradley, welcome in. EQC, welcome. Nick Morales, Marvin, Neil Neething, welcome. I appreciate all of you. Marvin Davis, welcome in. A-Train, XRP Pump It, Marvin, Nobody. A-Train, welcome. Hamza, good evening. Back for month 2. In the Army, Friday Live, I'll have fun. Hey, that's okay. That's okay, friend. I appreciate you being in there for 1 month, and then the thought of continuance. Velo on the Stellar blockchain is getting ready to absolutely explode. Unfortunately, I'm having a problem buying it. I don't have an exchange that I am on that I can buy it. I was looking around. Believe me, I was. Let's see. Julie Arwine, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon badge. My significant other. XRP. I have 14.5 XRP 3H bros. Codizer, welcome in. Prince God, welcome. IOTX is really a gem for IoT. I've heard some about that. Derek Plaza, welcome in. Derek Plaza, it's been a long time since I've seen that name. I love seeing you in here, my friend. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I know it's crazy to think it's at 21.2K subs now. It's just kind of been insane. I appreciate it. He says, I'm long in Litecoin, trading, not holding. Interesting. if I get a chance, I'll definitely take a look at Litecoin. It's been a while since I looked at that chart. It's been moving though. It's definitely been moving the last few days. I even seen, what was it, yesterday or the night before, it was up 12% randomly again. Probably not so random if I was paying attention. Randall, welcome in and thank you for the $4.99 donation and saying he's paying it forward. I greatly appreciate that, as it's the start of a new month. So if you do appreciate my work, consider sending one YouTube super chat per month like our friend Randall, or consider joining Tom's Army to pay it forward. As one thing I can promise is you don't get paid promotions, advertisements, or sponsorships. So you get a free viewing experience and I get straight to the point. I'm not trying to finesse you. If you're trying to trade XRP in these high times of volatility or when the market's dropping, look in the video description below and pinned comments. I'd like to talk about a little more when there's high times of volatility or when you get a better deal. Look at BITUNIX, lowest spot and leverage trading fees on the market. I looked before I came on today, a little bit closer, 47.5 differential with XRP. If you were to buy XRP with $1,000 worth on Uphold compared to BITUNIX, you would get 47.5 extra, which comes out to about $34 right now, $34.50, I believe it was, which is a 6.9% in and out fee by Uphold. So consider that on BITUNIX. It's something that's really been a lifesaver for me because now I can swing trade if I want. I am not in a swing trade right now, FYI. But yeah, it keeps the opportunity there. And then obviously with XRP Healthcare, for everybody who's watching, right now I've got, I believe it's 45,000 tokens, and I'm staking it for 20% on the XRP Healthcare site. I promised everybody I'd keep updating this because when we bought it, and it wasn't that long ago, everybody remembers it was just a few short days ago, I started buying it at 1.9 cents. I told the audience after a big downturn that it was finally the time. We were in the expansion zone and we took off right from here. We started buying it from, I didn't get it at 169. I started buying it at 1.9, all the way up to 2.8, back to 2.4 to 2.2. And then it went up, came back down here and consolidated. I hit the consolidation at 3 cents. I think I bought a little bit more. It was about 3.4, 3.3. And it's being staked for 6 months. And I get about 25 per day for the next 6 months. But this one, while a lot of people were frustrated with XRP, this is one with 100 million total circulating supply. 54 million are already in circulation. There's about 18 million being staked right now on the actual app, on its wallet. As you know, with this prescription card, if you don't have it, 80% off. It goes from CVS to pharmacies. And I did the not only white papers, but we did the roadmap. And they're trying to eventually and I told everybody we're very early, but in 2028, they're trying to not only build medical facilities and do all this before that and have urgent cares and the online doctors and, pharmacies, yada, yada, yada. Their ultimate goal is to try to maximize the shareholders' potential by trying to sell it to a major conglomerate. That's when you hear that prior to an IPO. So if they did that, if you ever hear of people that invest in things prior to IPOs and then they're out before the IPO ever starts, this would be that scenario if it plays out. And you would gain such an exponential wealth because you're in early. Like right now, nobody even cares about this. Even though it's made great strides, you're not getting the investor. If you look at the actual amount that's traded per day, it's not lighting up the screen. This is one of those sleeping giants that has utility. It's in the proper spot. It was at a proper moment to buy in the time. And now we're just at an apex zone here. But it's one that I'm very excited about because it's within our own ecosystem on the ledger. And a lot of people that I seen pushing this information on YouTube were saying that it was associated with Ripple, which is false. Ripple does not have a stake in this. ATK says funds are tight due to medical bills, but I appreciate your time, brother. Hey, my friend, I appreciate the gesture of the $20 donation, but that, I'm assuming you can manage it, but don't overextend yourself to show that support. You're already in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. But I do gratefully appreciate that show of support, but I never want anybody to overextend themselves. That's the number one rule. Tom used that code for Lobster Wallet to buy your Velo. I don't know. I'm very leery about, very leery about, I'm very leery about ever using lobster because I can't validate a lot of people. No offense to you, friend, but I don't use lobster for a reason. There's just I'm not going to go through it, but there's a lot of things that have happened to a lot of people because they go with the wrong trust lines, and I don't want to get into it. So real quickly before we go deeper into XRP and we get into some of this news, we can see the commodities are moving a little bit. We've had gold and silver a little flat today, but you got Newmont mining up at 1.65% to 36.43. You've got First Majestic Silver up another 6.91% today, including after hours. It's up over 37% since I put out the buy. B2 Gold's up to 264 now, up another 1.15%. It's up from $2.44. Newmont's up from $33.80. Those are where I bought them. But I think we're looking at a big moment here for silver. I think silver's gonna have a big breakout here in the near term. So I'm a little excited about that with precious metals. So just keep a wary, watchful eye on precious metals. And the cool thing I've noticed is, a little bit of the buzz is dying down for XRP. So you're gonna notice, like, I'm surprised in here that we have over 100 people. I'll be honest, just because I'm later and just some of the stuff that's going on. But you're gonna notice a lot of the momentum switching a little bit with just the way people are talking. Just the way people are talking. You're getting that switch of momentum. And we did hit a historic milestone on the ledger. That's something to do with the activity. And it could be hinting at a nice bull run that could be starting here, a final breakout here. You're having a hard time figuring out when I'm live. I don't know, maybe because YouTube doesn't show my live. You got to do a real good job. Normally I come on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a reason. Today I was out. My nephew called me to go watch the Godzilla movie, so I went with my sister, him and my 5-year-old niece. My nephew's 12. And here's just something that happened while we were at the movie theater. Me and him are sitting there. My sister's on the end, the other spot. My 5-year-old niece is on the side of him. It's like 58, 60-year-old guy stands up because my nephew's asked me something and tells her, he just starts yelling, "You're not supposed to talk during a movie. You're not supposed to fucking," and he was swearing and he was being very disrespectful, and I could have got up and I could have gotten his face and I said, "You need to act like an adult and watch what you're saying." And it ended up, he kept running his mouth. I ended up switching, well, he shut up after, but I switched seats with my sister because the people next to her and everybody were like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." It was crazy. So after the movie ended, and I was sitting down. You can't really see if I'm big or small sitting down. And I work out, so I've been lifting weights for over 2 years. So if you see me in person, I'm not really like, I'm not the smallest person. Let's just say I'm not a big fat person, but I'm not small. So we're going to the bathroom. We were gonna go to the first one near our seat, and there was like a disabled person, so we didn't want to rush past him. And there was a bunch of people in front of him, so we went to the other one. Well, we get in there and we get done pissing or whatever, and we're walking out, and this guy comes walking in with his grandson, and big, and he comes walking in, and when he seen me, the fear that overtook him, and this is why people can run their mouth, but you really shouldn't hit somebody for them running. The fear that came over this guy's eye when he seen me in the bathroom walking out, he like, and he up against the wall when he was walking past me. Like, I didn't even say anything to him. I just was talking to my nephew, but it was just, he thought from what he said that he was going to have some, some bills to pay. Fortunately, I wasn't looking to cash a check. See, so it's all about the way you approach things. It's no different from your normal life to crypto. So if you speak with it, oh, crypto goes down, it's like you're getting beaten up. It might be emotional, but you can't let that emotion dictate what you're going to do in the moment. Look what happened earlier today. We talked about how there could be an 11% drop, but we talked about what the conditions are to be met. It didn't meet the conditions yet. So right now we're hanging on. We're hanging on, and we have a little bit of good news here with the ledger, as I do want to read through some of this ledger stuff while I have everybody's attention. But that's just something that popped up. Wasn't expecting it. It was a great movie, by the way, for anybody who is interested in seeing it. And please make sure to hit that like button if you are watching, as we're getting close to 100 likes here. It will help YouTube recommend my lives. Mike Stevenson, thank you so much for not only being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor, but also sending that $20 donation. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Mike, as well. Thank you so much for that, Mike. I can't even express how much that means and how much it helps me do what I do. So the XRP ledger flashes big news. Is it a trigger for XRP prices bull run? The decentralized finance DeFi landscape with XRP has seen advancement through the integration of automated market maker AMM features. And there was something else we need to talk about today, and I freaking forgot. David Schwartz was talking about ramifications possibly if they do try to stake. If we do try to stake with it. So if they offer stake, we'll go through it in a second. But there's definitely some thoughts there by David Schwartz, and I thought it was pretty interesting. That TradingView article, when I was scrolling through, really it helped me remember because I would have completely forgot during this live. So overseen by its decentralized network, the XRP ledger achieving a new milestone. The XRPL and JW, I'd love to kick it with you too, my friend. Truly. The XRP ledger has successfully completed transactions across 87 million. What is this? Get off of there. 87 million ledgers, potentially setting a bullish sentiment for a significant price recovery of XRP in the coming hours. Rising transaction activity might trigger XRP's bull run. An XRP ledgers symbolize the unchangeable records of both transactions and account balances, which are collectively upheld and authenticated by a network of decentralized nodes. Remember, if you let the emotion of the market get to you, you miss information like this. This is the good news that goes unnoticed with bearish price movements. Typically, it's no coincidence. Like when retail's selling, but the bulls are still buying like now, it's not a coincidence. Retail doesn't know what the hell is going on. The bulls know. The bulls know. And if they don't, they pay somebody to know. The recent achievement of surpassing 87 million ledgers signifies a substantial amount of activity and transactions for the XRP ledger. Reports from XRP Ledger Services indicate that the ledger count has now reached 87,014,885. Furthermore, the number of accounts on the XRP ledger has exceeded 5 million. Currently standing at 5,143,822, with the aggregate amount of XRP held in these accounts totaling 59,575,122,706 XRP. Wow. It's a lot of the XRP in those 5.1 million wallets. Last month, following more than 2 years of development, the XLS 30 automated market maker AMM amendment was activated on the XRP ledger mainnet. This built-in function aims to facilitate on-chain liquidity and trading options for those involved in DeFi. And we're going to go look at the daily close from XRP right after this. Despite this, XRP's price has met a decline recently. However, the drop in XRP's value triggers significant purchases by whale investors. As on-chain data suggests, these whales are capitalizing on the lower prices. According to insights from Sentiment, XRP holders who possess between 10 million and 100 million tokens increased their stakes by 190 million XRP from March 27th to April 1st. Moreover, an even larger group of investors, those with over 100 million XRP tokens, has been observed adding to their position as well. This might create chances for an upcoming bull run for XRP's price. Whenever Sentiment data shows the wallets between 10 million and 100 million tokens increasing their holdings, they're scooping them up for a run up. There's no doubt about it. No fireworks. Oh, that's just lazy to say that, OSW. No offense, but that's really lazy to say no fireworks until 2028. There's no choice but to have fireworks. Let me ask you a question for anybody who spouts that line. Nothing until 2028. So what happens when a 85-month consolidation hits its apex point in December or January? Something's got to happen. So there's going to be fireworks one way or the other. You don't have to lie to people or sugarcoat it, or if you don't understand the analysis, don't gaslight what's to come, because if people really believe that, whether you're bearish or bullish, maybe you're somebody going long, maybe you're somebody going short. You know, there's opportunities there no matter which way it goes. Maybe people need to stack their money in case we do have a big breakdown here when it comes to the end of December, early January. When you are at the apex point, you have no choice but to make a massive move. You wish me right with what? You don't have to wish me anything. It's a fact. I don't need a wish. I don't need hope. I don't need a prayer for that. If you want to say a prayer, say one for Emmanuel, your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for just resurrecting. This doesn't need a prayer. This just needs proper analysis. That's all. And right now, with the proper analysis, we know that this has to have an apex moment end of December, early January. It has to. Whether it breaks up monumentally or breaks down, it has to happen. Period. That's not speculation. That's not conjecture. That's not bullshit. That's not FUD. That's not me hoping, and nobody needs to wish it right. The only thing you need to wish it right for is that it goes up if you want to have a parabolic breakout, not down. That's all we need hope for. The pattern's going to have a parabolic move one way or the other. That's not debatable. Yep. Absolutely, Derek. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it with gold and silver too, Derek. You nailed it. If they do rate cuts, everybody assumes that that's bullish for the market, which in a small time frame it will be. Make no mistake about it. We could capitulate with a rate cut. Short term, it might seem, oh, it's fine, everything's fine. But longer term, the market's going to cave because eventually that rate cut turns into massive rate hikes. During the rate cuts, try to make money. Once they announce the rate hike again, that means they're going back to quantitative easing. Remember what happened last time? Or quantitative tightening. Remember what happened last time they announced tightening? I sold the fucking house. I sold everything. Didn't buy it back until they said they were going into quantitative easing, which lines up with the charts, by the way. So there's going to be something to come for sure. And gold has been ripping. I hope everybody took the advice in 21 and 22 when we got to 1600, and silver when it was down at 18 bucks, and the commodities and all this stuff. I hope everybody. Fed is kicking the rate hike. They're not going to. No. Guys, hey, Derek, the only reason I would say you're wrong about the rate hikes coming, what did the European Central Bank just do? I'll wait. And I have to ask you, Derek, because I respect what you do, because you actually know your shit. So do you know what the European Central Bank already did? I'm just curious. Does anybody know what the European Central Bank did as far as rate cuts or rate hikes? Oh, that's the FUD, Derek. Trust me. All anybody needs to see is what the European Central Bank did. Well, actually, let's go through it. Let me pull the article up. I believe they've already cut rates. The European Central Banks. Unless I'm thinking of the wrong bank. One of them's already cut rates. A total of 4 interest rate cuts is feasible. Oh, maybe they didn't do anything yet. Yeah, the European Central Bank says the European Central Bank may cut rates ahead of the U.S. I thought somebody just cut rates, though. Didn't somebody just cut? I swear somebody just cut rates, unless it's just the proposal of cut rates. But I feel like they're trying to backtrack a little bit here and act like they're not going to cut them when we all know it's an election cycle. It's an election cycle. They're not going to do anything to hurt the chances of the Democrats in this cycle, which, as you know, it's all the central banks controlling it anyhow. So don't get caught up in the politics of blue versus red. If they don't cut, I would be stunned. I'd be stunned. They're just printing too much money not to cut rates. They're going to see what's happening right now. If they continue to raise rates, unless they're trying to overthrow the system right now, they're going to have no choice here at some point. I could see them staying pat. I don't see them raising rates is my point. I just can't see it. I can't see it. If they raise rates, I'd be shocked. because they want to kick the can down the road. And there's a reason why gold is starting to push like it is. It would hurt the economy, but it would, see, Derek, you're right. It would 100% hurt the economy. That's the truth, and that's what I always say. But they don't care if it hurts the economy. They're trying to put a short-term bubble on how things look. You cut rates, what happens? Interest rates come down on homes. Auto loan rates come down. Borrowing money comes down. Credit card interest rates come down. To fix your home repairs, that rates come down. So it makes everything look a little bit better. It makes the bubble bigger, and it makes the end result even worse than what Volcker had to do back in the 80s. But that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to put a bubble over it and pass it on to our kids' now, but it's going to be even quicker. If they raise rates right now, the economy already ends. They've already went too far, unfortunately. That's the point, Derek. They need to drastically inflate inflation. That's the only way to get rid of the U.S. dollar, is to create such high inflation while simultaneously printing U.S. dollars to where they have no choice, but the money becomes useless like Venezuela. That's how you push into this next phase. I'm telling you, everybody is going to be surprised when they rate cut universally. That's what's likely going to happen. I know it seems impossible. I know it makes no damn sense to have a rate cut. But when it makes no damn sense, that's probably what's going to happen with our governments and with the central banks. So that's what I think is going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. Like I've said, I want them to raise interest rates to over 20%. Yeah, I'm going to suffer as well, but that's what needs to happen. It does. Rates need to go up to 20 to 30% right now. The only good thing about that, which it won't even be a good thing, because the banks are not even going to get the interest you should, but theoretically you'd get higher interest rates in the bank. So let me finish reading this. Last month, following more than 2 years of development, blah, 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 we already did that. Despite the XRP's price has met a decline recently, however, the drop in XRP's value triggers significant purchases by whale investors, as on-chain data suggests these whales are capitalizing on lower prices. And we already went through this. Let's go through the little bit of the charting that they have on their analysis. So XRP, Tuan, I wonder, wait a minute, what is going on here? What's a scam? Who's talking? Julia, what's in the chat? Yeah. What scam what were they asking where somebody said it was a scam?
The Tuan guy said XRP is holding a big event. Will I really get X2 for participating?
No. If somebody's offering you free, what? No. They don't give you any free. Yes, exactly, Derek. You just read the agenda. Exactly what you're saying. That's exactly why it's got to happen. You should reread what you just said and look at the agenda of what's going on with the central banks. You just said exactly why it has to happen. Hyperinflation. Remember, they're getting rid of the middle class. That's how it happens. What you just said. They have to usher in hyperinflation. This is not an accident. But I'm not going to keep talking about it because I don't want to get banned. But it's not an accident what's going on. And we're going to have to think outside the box here of what's reality and what we would do. Fundamentally, it makes no damn sense for them to do it. And I've been speaking and beating the drum the same way as you, Derek, saying if they do this, but I know they're ushering in hyperinflation. We're on for every American citizen, we're on the chopping block, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they did. Then they sure did. XRP's price, they did want to, yep. XRP's price hovered around the 20-day exponential moving average, EMA, priced at 62 cents. For multiple days, however, the recent decline below the ascending support line has strengthened sellers' confidence. As of writing, XRP price trades at 60.5 cents, up a little bit now. It's over 61.5. At least it was. Declining over 3.3% from yesterday's rate. And I love the uptrend they have. That's the one we talked about with that head and shoulders pattern. If it gets confirmed, we can't have this rejection happen. That's the 62.5 cent line approximately. 62 to 62.5. I don't know where theirs is at. Should the price remain under the 20-day exponential moving average in the ascending trend line, the XRP trading pair might fall towards a 53 support. And that's our technical target out of our short-term pattern, as we know. So that's interesting. It's a big support. This level is crucial for the bulls to hold, as a breach below it may indicate a shift in momentum, favoring the bears, potentially leading the pair to decrease to 48 cents. Following the recent decline, you don't want to be down there because then you're one rejection from that handle away from resetting. Bulls are strongly defending the 59-cent level as the price is attempting a rebound. A change of momentum to the bull side is possible if they can push the price beyond 63 cents, paving the way for a potential upsurge to the significant resistance level of 73 cents. See why I like this article? It perfectly articulates exactly what it should. Beautifully, the pricing and everything. Now, we're going to go through the prices, and then before I leave, we're going to talk about what old man, I believe Schwartz was talking about once again. Always talking about this kind of stuff, but the implications of staking and tokenization. So we'll read that before I leave too, I promise. And if you're expecting an April Fool's thing from me, I don't participate in it. I don't believe anybody in my position should participate in it when people's money's on the line. I think there's nothing more sleazeball and douchebaggy for a social media influencer, especially when we talk finance and portfolios. We're talking real money. I imagine if I put out an article, a fake one that said XRP, it's going up 700% in the next 20 hours. It's guaranteed confirmed that I put out any spin I wanted just so you would believe it. And then I come back the next day and say, April Fools, but you just dropped 10 grand into it and now you're down 12%. You know, like that's what I'm talking about. You can't do that. Even for a quick laugh, it's not worth it. Give the audience a quick laugh by being funny. XLM down 0.67%. Let's see where it closed, and then we'll go to XRP. XLM had a decent, maybe not decent, but it at least held the support. If we get rejected here, I mean, that's interesting because everything has a reaction to the downside if it doesn't hold, but we already know if it gets rejected here and we break down this support, it would come all the way back down, but there's so much support in between here. It's very possible. It's very possible, not just very possible, but it's more than possible. If we break this support, this is where we're coming. Because we've created a nice little formation here. It's so easy to see now. I'm glad that it actually made this resistance here on that wick. Now we don't have to guess anymore. We can actually see what in the hell is going on here. So that's what we're looking at. Let me get rid of this. Now that we formed this pattern, if we lose the support, it's likely signaling a retest down here at about 11.6. So it looks like 11.6. It's a nice pattern formation. Breaks up, it's going to end up coming up to this resistance at 17 cents. Breaks down, it'll probably go down to that 8.5 cent area. So that's XLM as we're running on time here as we're already up to 47 minutes. Julie, it's been 47 minutes already. Didn't I just start? Wow, 150 people watching as well. I thank you for that. Please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this live. You would really help push my content. If you have the ability right now and you're not driving, you're not physically unable, but you have the ability, please make sure to hit that like button. If YouTube recommends this, we can continue to grow this audience. I think it's a testament that there's so many people here on such a bearish day. XRP at a daily close, just over 61 cents. But it's still painfully below where I would like it to be. Right now, we're just, although there's a little W that could be forming, but we need to hold this support. If we lose this support, we're signaling a drop down to that support level that we read in the article even of 53 cents. That's why I respect what they put in there because their analysis is good. Even though they were using the exponential moving averages, the formations that form will bounce off of a narrative. The EMA lines are based around the patterns, remember? So you can do the formations and never have to look at the lines. I like to have them on there for technical traders, but you can't even see them right now. The patterns are what speak right now. The volume is interesting because on the drop, you know, there's been a little bit of volume, but there's nothing special. Right now, we're just looking to see if the market does break below 60.6 and starts to drop a little bit. That's what I'm waiting to see. That's what I'm waiting to see. And we have, if it doesn't break through and completely come down, I could keep filling in that same chart. I could. But there's other ways I look at it. I still have this from March. So if that breaks, that could initiate a bigger drop, especially if you lose 53 cents. But to me, it's all about this handle. It's all about this bullish cup and handle. Because if it were to break down and this isn't bullish, we know it's a problem. But this technically signals our move to $1.21, which obviously if we're over $1.21, or if we're over 77 cents or 72 cents, that whole area of the 77-month consolidation, that breakout of that alone signals a move to $1.98. So this could literally be a stepping stone, where if this played out properly, you get the move up here, then you'd come back down and get a back test right here or right here. You'd build the handle. Typically, that might be a perfect handle because then you have the handle on the old resistance of the first handle initially. So that would be a perfect back test. And then you can just start measuring out. The technical target breaking out of the 77-month consolidation where it's at now is $1.98. If you do it before, I believe it's the end of July. You've got until the end of July to do that and start pushing out of these areas. So there's a lot of opportunity that's starting to line up here. And yes, I understand the narrative. Technical analysis doesn't matter. With manipulation, it doesn't matter. I say that's so lazy. You know why? To say technical analysis doesn't matter, that's like saying it's not important to see what kind of ingredients are in your food. It doesn't matter because it's already just being processed anyhow, right? What does it matter to have the actual understanding of what you're eating? Oh, I don't know, maybe because then you can avoid the bad things to eat and avoid the ingredients that are going to cause things that I can't talk about because I'll get banned. But it's the same thing with charting. If you understand the analysis and you understand pattern formations and you recognize whether it's a good or bad opportunity, you're going to keep yourself out of a bad situation. You're not going to be a long holder for no reason. See, I hear it a lot. YouTubers that say, oh, long holding's the key. They can't read a fucking chart. Excuse my French. That's all it is. Anybody who would tell you long holdings everything is just a dope. It's good when you're buying and you're in a bear market and you buy, then you long hold through a bull market and then you sell when the bull market's up. That's how it's supposed to work. Yes, you get some that have bought it so cheap and then they ride. That's another way of doing it. If you buy it and you're a long holder from a bear market to a bull market, typically when you go back to a bear market, if the old market cycle high is the new bear cycle low, then you can continue to hold. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. But when it shows you a retrace and you come all the way back down and reset, I don't know why you would sit through a 300-400% gain just to buy it cheaper. That to me doesn't register. Unless I know the market's going to have a big continuation like it oftentimes does from one bull to bear to bull. What you're supposed to do from a proper bear to bull to bear, the bear market goes from where it's going to go to the floor back to the ceiling of a bull market, so $1.98, right? Well, before that, when we came up, there had to have been a floor. So right now when we come up again, the next time we break $1.98, if we do it properly, hopefully it goes up and then it back tests $1.98 for its next bear cycle. And then it pushes back through all-time highs to restart a new bull cycle. So basically what I'm saying is the next bull run, if it went to 350, which it probably won't, but if it went to 350 and then it came back down during its bear drop of 50% or more, and its new support was that $1.98 from the 21 bull cycle resistance, now you start to build. Now you can hold on and be a real long holder because you've got potential for that growth. But every time it breaks through the previous high from an old bear to bull cycle and that support doesn't hold, the old high doesn't hold as the new support, you're screwed because then it's going to reset. And then you have the same measurement up to the measurement down, and then you know. And when the government says we're going to quantitative tightening and we're not going to be, we're tightening the budget, very bearish for stock market and crypto. Don't care what anybody says. Most of crypto is based on Tether. Most of Tether is printed for, I'm not going to keep talking, but it's printed for you know who. And for the fact that when the federal government now, when they make stock trades, they buy commodities, they buy crypto, they're exempt from taxes. I know what I would do if I had the printing press. I'd print money, look at the biggest pile of horse shit that's performing right now, and I would put a whole bunch of money into it, and then I would sell it on all of retail that get excited as it's coming up with my trading bot, don't forget, because you have to have timely sells after all. And that's what I would do, and it's the only logical way to explain the market. Come on, everybody. If I gave you 100 different baseballs and told you all to throw it at the same spot, they're not all going to the same spot. There's randomness. Even somebody might even do a terrible job and throw it the wrong way. So they're going opposite. The fact that when you're watching big tank jobs, like today wasn't a tank, today's a bear trap. And I believe DGB showed it perfectly. But now look, Look how quickly DGB's down 6.4% now, right? So what I'm saying is when the whole market can do something like that, as if no matter what crypto it is, no matter what the utility is, no matter whether it's a meme, gaming token, ISO, IoT, some up and coming BS, whatever, they all end up doing the same thing at the same time. That means that there's an overwhelming manipulation, but that's not bad. You just have to understand it. Everything's manipulated in life. The quicker everybody realizes that, the easier it is. It really is. So I don't know what. Yeah, that's what I got to say about all of that. So just understand the fundamental setups. Don't let somebody trick you out of thinking technical analysis doesn't matter. I get that so often that makes me literally want to not just gouge my own eyes out, but it makes me want to rip my head off and find a way to push it through the screen so I can stare at the person in front of them, saying, "You see what you did to me? You see what you did to me with all that nonsense?" My head literally detached from my body. Because it's just, I just want people to be understand. I want people to know. Yeah, and that's why I have 13 assets, as some have said. That's why they put it into different assets. I love XRP letting my money sit because I know it was easier to build in. But like while we're watching this, there's a lot of them were already up 2, 3, 4, 500%. Hell, even recently, I just gave everybody a gem, even if you sell right now. With XRP Healthcare at 1.9, 2.2, 2.6. I mean, I telegraphed this entire move for everybody. I didn't even tell them at a bad time because I waited when all the other influencers decided. I bet you, I don't know what happened there. Why they all started talking about it at the same time, but nobody does anymore. But that's our technical target right now. We got roughly that 5.8 area. Just watch because we could have a consolidation even. But this is where we're at right now. Pretty interesting. We're starting to ride this uptrending support too. If we break this, just understand we're coming back down probably to that 3.2 area. I think that would be a fair guess. Now, obviously, you could hold these mid-tier levels, but that's just what I'd be looking at. Oh yeah, I need to read this before I leave too. Wow, 57 minutes. We're not gone yet. And I thank everybody for hitting that like button as we have 142 likes now. That's crazy. That's awesome. John, that would make for a good horror movie, wouldn't it? Man, maybe I need to get the AI where they make the movies and I just start typing in my ideas and then I'll just have little animated videos. Seeing that that's what Hollywood's doing. It's good enough for them. It's good enough for me. All right, let's see. So let's read what old David Schwartz said. So Ripple CTO contemplates regulatory implications of staking and tokenization. Ripple CTO questions staking regulatory status amid securities laws. Discussion explores implications of Ethereum's transition to proof of stake and BlackRock's asset tokenization. David stated that he does not know how to make sense of the current regulations. I'm sure you don't. In a recent exchange on social media platform X, Ripple's Chief Technology Officer, CTO David Schwartz, engaged in a thought-provoking discussion regarding the regulations surrounding staking and tokenization within the cryptocurrency space. And this is important to us on the ledger. I don't understand how to make sense of this. If staking is a security, why do rules around who can buy securities matter? Nobody sells or buys staking itself since it's a service provided by the system itself. For example, the token is not staking, so buying or selling the token would not be a securities transaction, and no company's effort provide the revenue. So a company selling staking services wouldn't be an issuer of a security. So who would be subject to regulation? And then you get a bunch of people that are just commenting. I don't care what I don't care what some other asshole says. Schwartz comments. Came as a response. That's just like me commenting, and then some other person said, I don't care what this asshole says. He doesn't mean anything. Schwartz comments came as a response to tweet by user Molly Bullrun. She raised pertinent questions about the classification of staking, particularly in the context of securities regulations. I don't understand how to make, well, of course we have to read it. I don't understand how to make sense of this. Schwartz began expressing his confusion over the regulatory conundrum. The CTO highlighted the apparent paradox wherein staking, which is a process integral to many blockchain ecosystems, is being scrutinized through the lenses of security laws. The conversation went into the complexity surrounding the treatment of staking, with Molly suggesting hypothetical scenarios where staking, despite the underlying asset not being classified as security, could potentially fall under regulatory scrutiny. Notably, the discussions, what does he have?
I've been pushed.
Out of it.
Pushed me all the way to my
The discussion touched upon Prometheum's advocacy for Ethereum ETH to be called a security and BlackRock's involvement in tokenization assets on the Ethereum network. This further raised questions about the timing of these these initiatives in relation to Ethereum's transaction to proof of stake consensus mechanism. Schwartz's tweets highlighted the broader industry concerns regarding regulatory clarity and its implications for innovation within the blockchain space. The dialogue also hinted at a potential strategy involving the gradual transition from proof of work to proof of stake consensus mechanisms that incentivize institutional participation and capitalize on the tokenization market. David has been actively engaging in the community through a series of tweets. In a candid discussion, he addressed concerns about the distribution of XRP Ripple's native digital asset. Schwartz provided insights into challenges that Ripple faces in ensuring a fair and equitable distribution of the cryptocurrency, while also addressing concerns about centralized control and concentration of XRP. So I'm gonna have to call it a day here. My son's out here; he wants attention, and the girls are about to go to bed because they have school tomorrow. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you found some information useful here. I know Derek was here talking about Litecoin before we started, about he had a little trade going, so I wanted to take a look at it real quick. Just so we can see if his ideas of his own are bouncing. Right now, Derek, you need to be careful. I can tell you right off the bat, that pivot point of 99.10 I put there, because if that forms a resistance, that's a top. That's a big top. Be very careful here. That looks like a bear flag. That could be a bear flag, Derek. Although, if it does pull up here, it would be interesting. Just, you need that to be above 99.10, mister, my friend. If it's below 99.10, you very well could be putting in that M-topping reversal. And I had that up there before this pattern created because I thought there was going to be a cup formed. And now it's doing it. If it gets below that, I wonder what that measurement would be, actually. I'm just going to mark. I'm going to use this as a flag here. I'll show you what I'm thinking real quick. If it does break down. So it's not just going to immediately. Well, it did come back and back test a little bit. Say it comes up here. Could get you a short target of $93.30. Or, as we have a death cross here as well in the 30-minute, this is either a fake out or this pivot point is going to be used as a resistance. It's the start of a possible pattern transition here, so be careful. Be careful. A major opportunity here as well if it bounces up, because I'm just saying it's going to bounce up eventually, more than likely, with the pattern that it's showing, because you have a cup. Now you're trying to put in the handle. That handle could bring you all the way down, though. This could be showing us making the formation of the handle. This is very dangerous for leverage traders if that actually forms the handle. For a spot trader, no big deal. You can buy it all the way through, all the way down, and then you can watch the bounce. But this is technically trying to signal a possible breakdown here. We need to get back above here. We need that to not be validated, this death cross. And not just that, if you're not just doing a 20 through the 200, a lot of people wait for the 50 to come through the 200 to confirm the signal. It's coming through here in the next half hour. Don't care what anybody says. This 50 is coming through the 200, and that is a technical confirmation now of that 20 crossing the 50. Now the 50's or the 20 crossing the 200. The 50 now is crossing the 200. Yeah, oh man, Derek. Beautiful. Beautiful. See, he's watching it right now for that trade. That's beautiful. Because it's going to happen. I just want everybody to be careful thinking that he's telling you to buy it right now. Because he's telling you to watch an opportunity develop. And I think there is one. If this holds this retracement, you said 88, so I want to put this here as well. Because it could. It could actually come down there. Because technically, if I'm looking at this too, I like to look at the prior little cups. So you technically, because you came down, boom. Then you came back up. Where was it? Right here. And then you kind of just kept going. So So we could do this even and say, oh, we did the consolidation up. So yeah, I guess worst case scenario, we could find her. That is right at 88 bucks, actually. That's a great area. Because a lot of times they revisit these first moves, consolidate up, then they get out all the longs, and then it starts to come up, confirm that new trend. This could be interesting. That could be a very interesting play there. Initially, I'd watch this as it looks like it's breaking down. I would watch those first two targets at either $93.28, $91.18, and then that $88. So if you're trying to layer into this and you think it's a good buy, that's probably the way to start doing it. We'll see what the market has in store. But right now, we've got a very big cup that's formed. Now it's a matter of, are we going to have that bullish handle?
Did you see Jeffrey's?
103 to 113, that's a beautiful move. That's what I was talking about. The what, Julie?
Jeffrey said, what are the top coins to take advantage of? Why are we dumb?
I mean, that's personal preference.
True.
Personal preference by your favorite tokens.
Things to look out for.
I would, I mean, that's personal
He's
preference.
looking for tips because he said, what else are you interested in, Derek? So he's looking for coins.
Okay, so you're looking for tokens. You're talking to Derek, but like if you're asking me, I like to stick with the ISO, IoT, gaming tokens even during this dip. I would look at Gala. I would see if WAXP comes down because GameCon's coming up. I know Derek's familiar, but GameCon will be coming up. I believe it's is it end of April or end of May? I better look it up. But I'm looking for WAXP. If it were to break this structure to the downside, I'd be all over it or at least come back down here. MEXC with VPN does not work for U.S. residents. Yeah, see, if you don't have an account already, they're implementing a KYC for the USA users. You have to do it by the end of June. Like, I don't have to do a KYC or anything yet, but the end of my days on MEXC will be in June. You can withdraw funds from there, but you won't be able to open positions going forward if you don't do it. So therefore, they're going to play me right off their exchange in the end of June. So I'm going to try to take full advantage here for the next few months of buying my XRP healthcare, and then I'm not buying nothing. I'll just withdraw money if anything's made from anything that I have that's already open, because all you'll be able to do is sell going forward and then withdraw it off the exchange. So I don't think I'm going to do a KYC, but you never know. Julie might be interested in doing a KYC there. Right, Julie? See, she said yes, even though she didn't. The U.S. dollar, though, before we leave, is at 105. Starting to push up. Derek, I know you watch the U.S. dollar closely. I know you watch it closely. What do we always say? It's not a direct correlation to crypto going down, but when the U.S. dollar is going up, it tends to put a little bit of a red eye on cryptos and risk assets and things like that, only because the price should be depreciating as the U.S. dollar goes up unless you're getting a real push up. Can you go over quant, please? Yes, and then I'm out. I know I don't have to go over quant, but I will because I like you, Nick. Oh, what am I doing? Why did I type in quant? QNT. See, my mind's already said, Tom, it's time to go. How long has it been? An hour and 8 minutes. Wow. See, everybody's leaving because I said I was leaving. Everybody's so smart. I say I'm leaving, they're out. What's this? Wow, this is a very recent chart. I actually like this chart. I'm going to keep this chart. I mean, it's not recent, but I like how it looks. On the weekly time frame, I think it's pretty clear what's going on here. Weekly time frame's in a nice consolidation. I mean, whether it's a bullish in the weekly or not, we'll find out. So take a picture, my friend Nick. This is what you're in with quant. If we have a reversal candle here, we're coming down probably back to the uptrend at 101. We got to break out past this 140, 151 right now. If it breaks bullish, got a nice width here. I'm not going back here because we actually go through the diameter here. So I'm not going the full length of this because you could go farther back. I'm not doing it because that oftentimes leads you into trouble because you're overanalyzing the market. So if you break up, and then we're gonna clone it in case we break down. I don't want no tricks here. We're gonna remeasure this because I accidentally pushed it down. That's close enough. So if we break down, you could be looking at a I would be all if quant comes down to $45, my eyes are wide open. FYI. Or it's going up to so you're either looking at $204 if you were to break this to the top side, or $45.30 is what this is telling us if you break down. Yeah, it's a big difference.
That's a big.
That's why technical analysis matters.
That is a woo.
Let me fix that. That's why technical analysis matters, though. If quant went to 45, I would lose my mind too. So, all right, everybody, but I got to go. I want to spend some time with Julie. I was gone for a few hours. I want to go spend time with my son and everybody. If you made it until the end, hashtag be better, do better in the comments. And thank you, everybody, for showing up and showing out here today, honestly. Because it's a stressful time right now when it's negativity, right? I've been watching your channel for some time. Thanks to you. My bags are loaded and just waiting to see if this hidden bullish divergence plays out until I add more. Absolutely, Jeffrey. Good eye. Good eye. Very good eye. Have a good night, everybody. Have a great night. And don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. JW what?
Hopefully he's safe from tornadoes.
JW, you be safe from the tornadoes. Don't go out and do any kind of...
He's like us. So
don't do any
stay
tornado
outside.
chase. Yeah, you'll probably be like us and stand outside like me and Julie. Until we have to walk inside. But just be safe, everybody, please.